Hello, legends. My apologies, I'm a few minutes late. It's been a crazy day. Sorry to keep you all waiting. I've been on the bike for a bit. Finally, since Thanksgiving, I had not ridden, and so it was a little crazy running around. So that's why I decided to do this live stream. There was no group ride Saturday because of the holidays, everybody traveling and so forth. So I didn't really feel like it that much. I rode a lot, as you guys saw on Thanksgiving Day, and decided to give my body a break because the Rafa Festive 500 is coming. Hey, Robert Tangler, one of our biggest supporters. Robert, great to have you here. And so I decided that to fill the gap, I didn't want to be out of touch with you all for so long. To fill the gap, I would do a live session this week. Of course, our members get privileges as usual. Robert's one of our oldest members on the channel. We appreciate your support. I see we got 5 likes already. But basically, I call it winter cycling, but basically anything goes here. This is a conversation. Keep in mind that sometimes these things run on so long. So what I'm trying to do is answer certain questions briefly that are very specific and direct people to services if they need specific one-on-one help. I don't know what you guys think about this new setup. I'm using a new camera. Hey, Rashid, new subscriber from the UK. Thank you. Thank you. From across the pond. I'm using a new camera angle. It has something better than 720. My display, the Apple display I have goes up to like 7 something. And so it's been kind of fuzzy. So I'm trying a new webcam and it gives me more angles. Psycho Warrior is here. Okay, Psycho, I got your text and it was very in depth. I'm glad that you're here because we're going to talk about that. Cycle Warrior is also one of our long-standing members on the channel, and he had a issue riding the bike. Let me see if I still have the message history here. This thing keeps let's see here. I don't know. He said he was riding down, I guess, a hill, and he started having some wobbling with his wheels. And so I'm glad to hear. I wanted to address that here. Cycle, there are a lot of things that can cause these wobbles. Paulie Lunga is here. All right, my brother, how you doing? It's it starts with your headset first of all. Dwayne, welcome, Dwayne. Your headset, make sure your headset is adjusted properly. Even my brother has an issue where when he's trying to do hands-free on one of his bikes, it pulls. Okay, when he's doing hands-free, then he's got to move his body and try to bring it back. Whereas I showed him on my bike and 2 of his other bikes, you should be able to just pedal, get the bike rolling, sit upright, and let the bike track. Meaning, Robert Tangler had asked a question on one of the videos. He said, "What's that blue thing on that bike?" And then somebody answered and said, "It keeps the headset, the front wheel from flopping." And the reason I'm mentioning that is when your headset is adjusted properly, you should be able to hold your bike like this, the rear up and the front wheel down. And that front wheel should be able to go like this and come back to the middle. If it's not doing that on its own, then maybe your headset's a little tight and it could be grabbing. So when your headset is not adjusted properly, you can get shimmying at high speeds, descending. Another thing is if your frame alignment is not right, but that's a bit of an extreme. If you had a crash or whatever, that can cause shimmying. It's kind of like the wheel on your car. When you're traveling, sometimes at certain speeds in your car, you feel a wobble. And then at higher speeds, it stabilizes, or lower speeds, it stabilizes. Same thing with the bike. So it could be wheel, tire, but the tire is really less of a factor. I think it starts with your headset, the balance of your headset, and making sure that your wheel and your bearings are aligned and you have no play. Because at lower speeds, you're not going to tell. So there's so many factors, Cycle, that can relate to what you experience. That's why I did not want to answer in a text back to you. So make sure that you get somebody, if it's a problem, if you're constantly going high speed descending, and you found that you probably have to hold those bars really tight because if you let go, it's just scary. Yeah, that's what you have to do until you can get that sorted. But it should not be shimmying. What it means is something's out of alignment. So let them check the wheel bearings, let them check your headset, setting and so forth, and that can be resolved. You need a good mechanic to look at that. So let's see who else is here. Everybody, all the regulars are here. So yeah, so cycle, I think that's where you want to start. Let somebody get that headset checked out. Get your wheel checked out. Make sure there's no play. When you take the wheel off the bike, if you can pull, or when it's on the bike, see if you can move the wheel from side to side while it's clamped in. If you can, that means you got play in your bearings, and that will cause that shimmying as well. The crap out of me. Yeah, it is scary because it can cause you to have an accident. Because all that shaking at high speed, yeah, you pretty much have to hold onto the bars. And so you need to get that addressed. It's usually something minor that is only surfacing at high speeds. And it's those issues that I've mentioned. So get it checked out. They're not major repairs. Just you can do the check yourself, cycle, before you go to a shop. Put the bike on the ground, squeeze the front brake, and see if you can rock the bike. If there's any play when you're holding the front brake, that means your headset is loose. There should be no play. Or if you bounce the bike and you hear rattling, your headset is loose. I like to check headset by holding the front brake and rocking the bike. If there's any movement that's play in your headset, it needs to be taken out. It's not a big adjustment. And then the thing about the wheel, if you can move your wheel from side to side, you got wobble in there, that's what it gets exacerbated at a high speed. So definitely look into that. Plus, the wear on your components will be a lot better if those things are adjusted. Your headset will last longer, your wheel bearings will last longer, all of that. So great reason to Hey, Jeffrey Davis is here. Welcome, guys. So I like this angle with the new webcam that I'm using. It gives it a softer glow and so forth. So I was going to ride today, but when I got up, I had so many things. I wouldn't call it a honey-do list. It's really a combination of my list and my wife's list. It's just things that we needed to get caught up on. So now that I got them out of the way, the rest of my week is kind of open. So I'm trying to get myself ready for the festive 500 that is coming up. It is supposed to, as usual, is between Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve, 8 days, 500 kilometers. So I'm trying to get myself to ride every day. I'm going to start probably doing 50K a day or, and then go up to like 80K a day, doing more during the week, especially with the holidays coming around. That's my goal anyway. So that's the plan. So you got to prepare yourself for everything you do, because I don't want to just start, because usually we do our longest rides, as you all know, on Saturdays. And then Sunday I taper it down a little bit less than that, but to go every day. So my goal is when I hit the festive 500 on New Year's Eve, I want to try to do at least 100 kilometers every day. That's like 62 miles every day. So to get to that, I got to do at least 50 miles every day, like by mid-December. That's the way you get yourself in shape. So then everything is kind of second nature. So yeah, when Cycles sent the text, I've experienced that myself. For example, if I put the mud guards on my bike and I descend, a fast descent, I have to hold on because it will wobble, because the wind gets in the mud guards behind the wheel, and that can cause the wobble. So there are so many factors, and I've done the same descent with and without the mud guards to know that was the mud guards doing it. So if you test that cycle, make sure whether you can do hands-free riding with no pulling and the things that I explained about checking your headset, all of that, instead of just taking it to a shop, unless you got a real competent mechanic that you trust, because a lot of people may not know what all to check for that. JAS General Con says, thank you very much. I use and enjoy riding with you. I live in Wasilla, Alaska. Wow, welcome. And I thought it was cold. It's probably freezing up there. It was a balmy 30-something degrees Fahrenheit today. I think this is our coldest week. And, I got up this morning. I told my daughters, I said, okay, well, you got to break out the heavier jackets. They looked at me like I was crazy, because the kids don't like to carry heavy jackets. They want to wear the cool jackets that they can tie around their waist and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as you open the door and the wind hit them, they got the message. They're like, oh, yeah, it is cold. I said, yeah, it's cold. It's colder than we've been used to. Mark Van Schutland. I hope I pronounced that correctly. From the Netherlands. Welcome, Mark. And JS. Oh, his name is Joel. Okay, Joel. Welcome, Joel. So I got a lot of enjoyment out of the video I released. There are two videos. Well, the Thanksgiving video, of course, was very enjoyable. And then let's start with the one with the mirror, the mirror video. I kept telling my brother Paul, I said, man, all these years of writing, and I'm just now trying this. And then I just loved it instantly. And I immediately told him about it. And so he tried it. He was like, wow, game changer. So what's so special about the rearview mirror? Because somebody asked on the video, said, did you have a close call? I wouldn't have expected you to have a mirror on your bike. And I was thinking, why not? So I don't know what kind of image is out there. Why wouldn't he expect him to have a rearview mirror? So my reply to him was, no, there were no close calls, but like a rearview mirror in the car. I tried it and it just works. I mean, imagine being in your car and you having to do this. That wouldn't work too well. So the rearview mirror just works, guys. I had tried the one that I showed in the video that goes on your glasses. That just didn't work. You're constantly looking for the image, and it was flimsy and whatever. And I know they've got different kinds. They've got some that goes on the helmet. I haven't tried those. I like the one on the bar end. The main reason is that it's out of the way, and once you set it, it's stable, especially the one I talked about. The key is to make sure it attaches to your bar very well, because if it's shaking, the image will be shaking. So they have those that have plastic inserts, and then you can just plug in. It's got like a plastic thing instead of a glass mirror. I have those in my toolkit, and I don't like the image, and maybe that's why I never tried it, because I put that on there one time and you couldn't see anything. But the one that I finally ended up using with the glass mirror is just like the rearview mirror in your car. It gives you actual distance. I found that I was riding with more peace of mind, and I found that I was using more of the road. And I was like, wow, because now that you know what's back there without turning, I just started using the road more and more, riding in the cleaner areas more and more than I did before, because I could see before the drivers would get to me whether they were going to move over or not. You see all of that developing behind you by just glancing. You're not riding and looking at the mirror. And that's what I got out of it. It was like, wow, I was more relaxed. I was never startled because I saw everything developing behind me. And I told Paul about it. I went to the Woodlands, my usual route. I was doing a little loop. And I was on a busy road on Research Forest during the week. And I was in the right lane, using the lane. And I could see the cars about a quarter mile back, signaling to get in the left lane, because there were two lanes of traffic and I was using the right one. I could see them signaling to get into the left lane to pass me. So it just lets you know that, oh, I don't need to do anything, because you hear them like you always do. But now you can actually see what they're doing. And I found myself taking control of the lane more. When a driver would try to do something unsafe, I would move over earlier and use my signal. So it just works, guys. So if you've never tried it, give it a shot. You know, the mirror that I put on there, the first one I tried is like between 35, 40 bucks, depending on where you get it from. It's not a big investment, but it just works. The glass makes it look just like in your car. You can see actual distances. It's clear. And I just fell in love with it. And I didn't want to ride without one after trying it. One ride, I was sold. So I told Paul, I said, man, look at all these years been riding with it. So you have to have an open mind in life, or you end up missing out. That's the lesson I got from this. All right, let's see here what we got here. Mark says he has rearview mirror on bike, and yeah, I loved it so much. I got 3 of them. What I did was I got the first one I tried, which I used in the video. Then you guys saw I filmed the blue bike. That's the kind of eye candy thing. I got that for the blue bike, and I had used it in the group ride, the one where we went to Spring Branch Road a week ago. And I like the form factor, but it requires a little more care to line up the image. But once it's lined up, it works. And I love how small it is. So I got another one like it, but slightly, about $3 more. I put the links on there. I got that from Renee Hurst. $3 more because it has a leather insert. And And I got it simply because it blends better with the orange bike. I've already installed it on the orange bike. It just looks really good. I'm going to keep the first one on the Colnago and use that. But I just don't want to ride without a mirror now. And I was like, man, how did I ride all these years, you know, all these decades without it? So you can't close your mind to anything new. Just always be open to trying stuff because you never know what you're missing out on. It just works. I end up using the road crazy now. I get on the road, I just take the lane because I know what's back there. I know what's coming. I can see when they're trying to do something crazy. So you're more in tune. You find that you're just glancing like you do in your car. Just like when you're driving, you just kind of glance, and that's all. You're not looking at it all the time, but it's right there to where you don't need to tilt your head. You just move your eyes. So you're still looking forward, and you can just see what's going on behind you. And I only do that from time to time to just see, oh, there's nothing there. So it was perfect in Pittsburgh when I was riding, because for some reason, somebody confirmed on the site in the comments that the drivers out there in that part of Texas, I guess, are very considerate. That was my experience, and I thought maybe it's just a fluke, it's the holidays, whatever. But apparently it's not. That they're just, I think it's more rural. I saw a lot of drivers would come behind me and just stay behind me like a quarter mile back because they were turning into their property. They wouldn't pass me to turn like we have here where I live. You know, even in your car, people will get right in front of you knowing they're turning and then break up your rhythm, even when you're driving. They didn't do that out there. And then some guy confirmed that that's just the way they are out there. So we're going to be going back there in a few weeks to visit again. And I will definitely be riding a different area. I'm going to set up a course near around some lake, and I will film. They've got a lake out there. I've never been there, but I think it's going to be pretty. Something different than what I did before. But I just love riding with a mirror, so I cannot recommend it highly enough. There's a company that wants to send another mirror to the channel. I guess they saw the video and the email. I saw the email. I haven't responded. It's a different style. You can put it on a bar end and so forth. So I may agree and just see how it works, because not everybody rides a drop bar. So if you have a flat bar, you can put it on a bar end mountain bike. But I think it's a good idea, because if you know what's going on behind you, you know when to take the road, you know when to move over to be courteous, you know when it's safe. And I like that without having to turn your head. It's not going to stop you from turning your head, but I found that I was turning my head less frequently. I mean, there was no need to. I could regulate the traffic by just glancing at that mirror. And so I love it. So just get the good ones that give you a good image and you'll be good to go. All right, let's see here. Aid Hickson said the way folks drive is necessary. I agree. It's just human beings, especially I think in the city, everybody's rushing. I think when it's more rural, people are more laid back generally. And I think that's the reason why a lot of cyclists go and look for quieter roads. So it's just because, like I said earlier, I have most of my issues close to where I live, near the golf course down from the house. Even the golfers complain. And then Paul, my brother, saw that they added signs at the golf course that says golf cart crossing. They already had the signs on the road, you know, like you have a crosswalk for the golf carts. But they added signs, yellow signs with black golf carts in there, you know, kind of silhouetted out, just to slow these drivers down. Because even though the speed limit is 20 miles per hour, people do more than that, of course. And so they patrol a lot, but they've added that. So yeah, it is an issue because everybody's rushing about. And, you know, people leave late. They're trying to get somewhere. And the bigger the city, the busier it is, the more you have those. It's an attitude thing. And so I try not to engage with people who have the wrong attitude. You just want to stay out of their way and try to be as safe as possible, because your goal is to ride your bike. That's what it's about. And so, yeah, you're right. Having that mirror adds another element of I call it peace of mind. That's what I got from it. I was just so much more relaxed, not depending on my hearing, but being able to see and hear. That just goes together. It made me feel like, wow, this is almost like when you're in your car. It's just, yeah. So, yeah. No one's talking me out of it. I don't care if it's not cool or it doesn't look right or hip or what. I don't care about that. In fact, I just replied to somebody who put a comment there that was, you know, he was being sarcastic. Of course, he said something about people don't want to use it because it's not cool. And I told him I don't give a rat's behind about it. You know, if something works, it works. I don't care what it looks like or whatever. If it works, it works. You know, that's the key. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, Mark says he has the Gilsberg too. Yeah, those are the two that I got, Mark. And I went ahead. I discussed it with my wife, and she was like, "Yeah, go ahead and get them." You know, the woman I'm married to is from Houston, and she's a gem in that she believes that you can't take it with you. You only live once. So her attitude is, if you can afford to get something, or even if you can't, save up. Kind of like there's a guy on the channel named Graham. Graham says he's saving up because I think he wants to get the Berthoud also. That's what I believe. Why buy 4 crappy tires when you can take the money for the 4 crappy tires and get 2 good ones? So yeah, you wait a little bit, you save up. You know, that's the way we were raised. So yeah, I think it's cool. Treat yourself. You deserve it. You're special. You deserve it. You get up every day to deal with these crazy jobs that we have. And so you need to treat yourself periodically. So yeah, that's the way to go. That's why, you know, I got the first one, it worked, it was functional. I said, oh, okay, let's get this one because it's really cute and small and everything. And it just kind of disappears. So it's like jewelry for the bike. So yes, I treated myself. I got the leather one from the Berthoud collection, and then I got the regular one, which is $3 less. I mean, for the Lightspeed, the blue bike. And I'm glad I did, because the leather one for $3 more, you get a separate end plug for the other side, and it just looks really cool. They designed it nicely. You get 2 plugs. The other one you just get one with the mirror, you know, and you use your regular plug. Instead it was all black and blacked out. So I got the one with the leather, which is close to like my orange bike. It just kind of blended in. I put it on there. It looks really good. So yeah, I figure I'm not going to be getting them that often, so why not? Let's see. Rashid said, I just bought my mirror with a lane. Keep the missus happy. Yeah, you're right, Rashid. Rashid, and it's not just my wife. Paul's wife's the same way. Paul was telling me, my brother was telling me that if he gets up and he doesn't go ride, the first question his wife asks is, what's wrong? Are you sick? It's the same thing with my wife. If I'm not riding, I better have an explanation. Because either you're sick or something's bothering you. You know, they get used to your routine, and they want you in a good mood. And so when you stray, they're concerned, which I think makes sense. I mean, you don't marry somebody so you can give them a rough time. So, I think that people need to rethink how we relate to our mates. We need to help each other enjoy themselves. Because some guy put a comment on there that if he had gone to his mother-in-law and ridden his bike, they wouldn't have talked to him for the rest of the visit. And so I just replied and told her I'm married to someone that wants me to enjoy myself and have fun. And you see, and that was never an issue. You know, my mother-in-law kept asking all these times that we'd go up there, why didn't you bring your bike? Why didn't you bring your bike? And I just never did. And I'm glad that I did this time. My brother had a bike carrier that he let me use, and we put it on. It's like a hitch, and it was easy to carry the bike, you know. So it was just kind of cool that I was able to do that. So yeah, it's not a problem. I mean, think about it. I don't spend all my time. If I go visit, I don't spend all my time with them anyway. You know, half the time there's no connectivity where she lives. It's in the boondocks, so they don't have cell signals that much. You got to go down the road to get a signal, that kind of stuff. So when we go there, we're kind of cut off from everything. That's why I couldn't load that film, you know, while I was there. It's just there's nothing. They don't have the throughput that we have down here in the city, where she lives anyway. You'd have to go down into Pittsburgh itself, which is where I live. But yeah, they welcome that. I think it's very healthy. I think that if you're going to be gathering, I think everybody should bring their little things so they have their time by themselves, because you don't spend every waking moment with them, you know. So that was kind of cool. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Joel says he uses the mirror that is attached to my glasses. Yeah, I never got mine to work. Joel, I believe is Joel. Yeah, Joel. Yeah, I never got mine to work. I put the picture of the one that I had when I made the video in there. It's still here. It's just like it might as well be a, what do you call it, paperweight. But I found myself trying to find the image while I was writing, just trying to find it, moving your head and this and that. It just never worked. I have never used the one that attaches to your helmet. So that may work better because I think it's more stable. I think the problem with the ones on your glasses, at least the one I tried, they've got those 3 little things. One comes this way, and then you kind of slip the frame in there. I think that attachment is just too flimsy. So it was moving all over the place. The image was not stable. So every time you looked up, the image was gone. It was somewhere else. And you don't have that problem with the buy-in mirrors. And I've read about some of the other people that use the flat bar mirrors. I think it's the same thing. They get it stable, and you don't have a problem with losing your image. Because you need the image to be where it was when you set it up, so you don't have to wonder about it. That's why you don't look at it all the time, because the image is not going anywhere. You know, it's really cool. The way I line it up, I can see my lane, the next lane. It's really, and then you see far back. It's really nice to know what those guys are doing back there, and it's kind of neat because sometimes I find myself moving out more into traffic to encourage them to move over, and it's been working because I can see the ones that are just coming too close to you and have not started moving over. And so I take up more of the road because it's safe for them to use that empty lane. Doesn't it blow your mind that the lane's empty, but they don't want to move over? You know, the opposite lane. And so that's odd. But yeah, I don't like the ones on the glasses for that reason. If they have better ones, I wouldn't know. But I like the ones. I don't like extra stuff on me that much or my bike. But this is something that just works. It's like a tool. It's not, I wouldn't even call it an accessory. I think it's a necessity, in my opinion. So I like having that, but I don't like to put stuff on my helmets and other stuff if I can avoid it. So it just works. And I feel like I've been missing out. And that's why I'm all excited. I told Paul, I was like, man, you believe this? All this time, never tried it. I've seen other riders that had it, you know. So I'm just glad I finally, what made me try it, like I mentioned, was on the ride. When we went to Anderson, I was pulling and Doug kept telling me, oh, you need to back off here, drop the power a little bit. I was like, how is he doing that? He kind of knew. I see a bug flying around. He kind of knew when the group was losing its cohesion. He would know. Whereas I would have to look under to see if the wheel was still there, you know, how we usually do. But he was timely giving me, okay, now you can go, we're all together, this and that. And then I noticed that he was doing it when he was in front, and he had that little mirror. Not the same kind I have. I think he has the one that I really don't like the image, the one that has that plastic surface. But he used it, and that kind of piqued my interest on that ride. I think I may have talked about it. And I had those mirrors in my parts bin. I had gotten them when they were on sale maybe over a year ago. And I just had them in there. So I said, okay, they're here, let me try it. Took it out on one ride, and I was like, wow, I was blown away. So I think it's a M&B. It's a German company, the First Link. That's the one that I tried first and just loved it. And then started doing searches, and I found the Berthoud. And the Berthoud is so beautiful, it's just ornate. And I thought, yeah, that's the way to go. And I just, you know, so yeah, I'm glad that I tried it. And if you haven't tried it, give it a shot, because you can get it. And even just, you know, with Amazon, you can return stuff if you're not sure. It's not the end of the world. But I just don't see any rider putting that thing on, adjusting it and saying, it just enhances your ride. You relax. You're more relaxed. That's what I found. I call it peace of mind. I can't say that enough. You just go out there and no more. You're not going to be startled by a car that suddenly by, you know, you see them coming. You hear and see them, so you gauge it. So you're not startled anymore. That's the biggest thing I found. Let's see here. Mark says being safe is always cool. You got that right. So I bought them initially for my winter bike in the spring, and I switched to my road bike. Ordered them after the first ride. I missed them. Yeah, that's what I found. I've tried it once, and I got 2 more for the other bikes. And while they were on the way, I didn't ride anything but the bike it was on. That's how much. I took the Colnago to Pittsburgh. You know, even though it's not my lightest bike, but I took it out there. And that area there, I got a workout. It wore me out. Those hills, I'm talking 9% plus. Yeah. They got some serious climbing up there. Let's see here. The leather one is so nice. Yeah, Mark talking about leather. I got in a special edition green with a torque screw. Yep. I got, you know, that's what threw me, Mark. I got the leather one. I just put it in a couple of days ago. The bike is still on the stand. The right one has a torque screw. The left one does not. I was like, they just did that because it just looks so cool. So the one on the right, that's just a plug. They put a torque screw in there. I think it's like a 20 or one of the smaller torque, 20 or 15. I had to go get a different torque screw. But I like the way it looks. It looks really cool. So yeah, you're right. It's designed to just look good and function. So if you can afford the Berthoud, yeah, get it. But if you can't, get the one. If you got multiple bikes, get the regular one the first link, get that one first. And then save your money for your other bikes. If you have other road bikes, like if you got a nice carbon bike or whatever, something fancy, put that on there. Now, these mirrors will work for tracks as well. I mean, it depends on the angle you set it at. This is the reason I want to try the other mirror. Somebody sent an email to the website that wants to send a mirror that looks like it would work better for tracks. I want to test that, and I will put the link on the channel for guys like Robert and them who have recumbents and stuff like that, because I think everyone can benefit from having a mirror. They make mirrors that are for recumbents, and they make mirrors that are specifically for road bars. So the ones that I'm talking about fit your road bars. I had to cut my tape. I had to take it out of the bar, and that's another thing for those of you who are getting your mirror. You're going to have to remove the plug, and if you have a lot of tape inside, the mirror may not fit very well. You may have to carefully pull that tape out and cut it to where it's shorter so that not too much of it goes in the bar, and then the mirror will press up against it and it fit. Because if you have too much in there, it just won't fit, because the fit is already close and the wet just solidifies everything. So you can't have thick tape inside the end of the bar and have it work very well. So you got to finesse it. It's not that hard to do. All right, let's see here. Dwayne says, I argued with my late uncle 40 years ago, debating me, saying quality is better than quality on a fishing trip. I had a really nice quality fishing set, and he had 5 real combos that all fell apart fishing. Yeah, I mean, if you have nothing and all you have to get is something, I mean, I always stress, get what you can afford so you don't stress yourself out. So if all you can afford is something that maybe not the best quality, you make do with that. But whenever you get to the point where you can afford it, why get multiples of low quality stuff if you can take the same amount of money that would have bought those quantities of the low quality stuff and just get the good stuff and treat yourself? That's the way to go. Because not everybody has the budget for everything at that time. So I believe in saving up and getting what you can afford, and sometimes doing without until you can get the good stuff. I think it's okay. I mean, if I had to wait to get the Berthoud mirror, I would, because they're that nice. So we've been riding without mirrors, like for me, 30-something, 40 years, I've been riding without mirrors. So if I have to wait a few months to save up and get the Berthoud, like Graham is saying, one of the legends that he's going to do, that's fine. So you treat yourself, and it teaches you to take care of yourself, take care of your stuff. And also it teaches you to stay within your means. I think that's a good plus. Yeah. So yeah, it's better to get quality stuff and you just get less headache, Like right now it's cold here, and like most houses, there are spots in our home that have cold spots. Just like in the summer, it has hot spots. So we have these little space heaters that we run. And there's a brand called Vornado that I've been using in the past. And so we have one that needs to be replaced. Well, I figured, okay, what if I got something that was a little more interesting? They have these heaters that look like fireplaces. And so I'm going to surprise the wife and get one of those heaters. They have fake flames and stuff, and it's small, because I heard her telling her mom about it. They were talking on the phone, and it'd be nice if we had a fireplace in the room and this and that. And then her mom told her, well, you don't want to deal with logs and the ash and all that kind of stuff. And so I figured this will be a nice surprise. Get a heater that has fake flames, and if you choose to, you can turn up the heat and just have the flame for ambiance. And I did a lot of research earlier today on Amazon, reading reviews, and it looks like it will work. You know, with Amazon, I'll try anything because their return is painless. You know, those of you who shop there, they're pretty good. So it'll be a nice surprise. I haven't told her about it, but I think she'll love it because you can have it like a nightlight per se and just have flames licking. You know, I thought that would be kind of cool. So let's see here. Alex Ray says, "Hi, Eldred. Why super record over Dura-Ace?" Yeah, that's a good question. They're so close. It's a great question. I just wanted to experience their best. And when I was building my bike, because I can do the work myself, I took the time while the frame was being, the frame was custom, while the frame was being made, I shopped and got really good deals. So I was able to buy Super Record at the retail price of Dura-Ace. That was my first foray into trying Super Record. So Super Record came, I put it on the first bike, and just the function, they worked. They took Dura-Ace, and as great as it is, not Dura-Ace, I'm sorry, the Record. They took Record, and as great as it is, they improved it. They added more carbon, lighter stuff, whatever. They just worked better. And I was like, okay, as long as I can get, because when I was sourcing my components, I was getting things from Merlin Cycles and Pro Bike Kit, all these places. And I was able to get good prices, so I was able to get it, So I just continued to source it that way. So yeah, I wanted to see what it was like and why they had to differentiate, Super Record and Record, and I found out why. They're not the same. Super Record just works better. I didn't get it because of the weight, but they are lighter. They use a lot more carbon, but they function a little better than Record. So yeah, that's why I got it, And so I spent the same money you would spend for Dura-Ace at retail and got deals on Super Record stuff and was able to put my bike together. You kind of have to know what you need, especially when you source in the bottom bracket pieces. Whether you got Italian, like my Colnago has Italian bottom bracket and this and that. So you got to make sure you're getting the right parts. But it's not that hard to do. But yeah, that was my reason for getting it. I tried it like the mirror and loved it, and like, why not? So it's not a fluke. It's the same thing with Shimano. They have Dura-Ace and then they have Ultegra. And a lot of people say, oh yeah, Ultegra benefits from Dura-Ace. That is true, but they're still not the same. I have used Dura-Ace when I used to compete, and I use Record also. I just like the way the shifting of the Campagnolo group. I'm practicing my pronunciation. They just work. They're more precise. They're direct. Sometimes with Shimano, it works so well. Sometimes it's almost medicinal. You can't tell. Am I in the gear? Did I shift? It's so smooth. I like that kerplunk of Campagnolo. And that's why I ride Campagnolo. And then Super Record just works at a different level, nicer, smoother, crispier than Record. So yeah, they're not the same. So if you can afford it, definitely give it a shot. All right, let's see here. Rex Maverick said, I think I'll try the Garmin variant to alert me. Yeah, actually, what's his name? Doug, the guy who was talking about it, had the mirror, had the Garmin variant on there. In fact, during that very ride, I kept hearing this beep, 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 all these beeps going off. And I was like, what is that? And then he told me that was his radar. Apparently, based on the number of cars coming by, it beeps to let you know. But here's my thing. If that's all it does is to beep to let you know you got 3 or 4 cars coming, you still have to look for them, right? To know where they are and whatever. So yeah, if that works for you, that's great. But my thing is I like being able to see where they are as opposed to just hearing a noise that tells me cars are coming, which my ear tells me cars are coming and I have to turn anyway. That was my thing with that. But if you find that the Varia works for you, the Varia is kind of pricey too. So I would say I would take the mirror first before I took the Varia for that very reason. I want to see them. Because if it beeps, I still am curious. Where is it? It's kind of like somebody saying, hole. And then you say, where's the hole? Boom, you've already hit the hole. So if all it's going to do is beep to tell you cars are coming, you don't know what the heck they're coming. I want to see them. I like having the mirrors before they even get close to me. That's what gives me the peace of mind I've been talking about. So if you don't mind not knowing where the cars are, but just knowing that they're there, then fine. Where we live here, there are always cars there. So, that's why his Variant was beeping all the time. And so on 2854, I turned to him and said, what the heck is that noise? He said, oh, that's my radar. But now here it is now. That's a guy who has the Variant and he has a mirror. So why does he need the mirror if he does it all? I rest my case. It's not cheap. So spend your dollars wisely. If it works for you, great. I have not used it, so I can't knock it, but I'm just telling you my experience around it. And I don't want somebody telling, I don't want something saying there are cars there. I know there are cars there. I hear them. I've always had that. And the mirror says, oh, that's where they are. I can see them. That's different. That's kind of like being in your car. You know there are cars there, but you lose your rearview mirror to see where they are and what they're doing. That's the difference. That's the best way I can explain it. All right, let's see here. Tactile Z says, look up Try Eyeglasses, best purchase ever, built-in mirror. Try Eyeglasses. Okay, I'll check that out. Let me write that down. Check that out later. It's always good to find different things. The more the merrier. Anything that will let me see these guys. Try Eyeglasses. All right. So Joel says, okay, thanks. I will try those you use. Thanks, amigo. Got to go. Full name, Joel Armendariz. Okay, Joel, take care. Oh, Mark says the Torx matches the screws in their saddles. Yeah, I've been looking at the Rene Hurst site and the different things that it carry. And what comes across from that site is that they carry unique stuff, even the bars. They have Randonnier bars or different things. And so if you're looking for something off the beaten path, Rene Hurst is a good source. Because when I found the Bethune mirror, I did a global search on it. They sell it, they made it in France. So they have a site in France. There's like 65 euros over there, So they're designed to just not be a mirror, but an ornate mirror. Decorative and functional, just a work of art, just done really well. So it's kind of nice. It's nice that we have that, and then you're not going to see that every day. I really like that, and I'm somebody who, if I find something that works for me, I take very little. I have no concern about what someone else says, like, oh man, you look odd with a mirror on your bar. If somebody said that, I would just chuckle. Because I know why I have it there. That's all that matters, and that's the way you have to look at things. Because sometimes some people close themselves off to trying things and then they'll joke about it or whatever. You don't want to be one of those. If I were like that, I wouldn't have this, after all these years of cycling. So I obviously was going to try it because a year ago I bought I think it's B&M mirror, German mirror that I have. I bought that a year ago and somehow just left it in the parts bin and never installed it. And so I'm glad that I finally got around to trying it. So yeah. So keep having an open mind because it's really good. Because you can always learn from different situations or different people. Don't close. Welcome from Muskegon, Michigan. Welcome. Todd Green, grateful for the time and knowledge you continue to bring to us cyclists. On the subject of mirrors, I always wanted to get one, but thought it was too gimmicky. You have changed my mind. You're welcome, Todd. I don't know why I never tried it, but I never thought it was gimmicky. From the time I competed and the people that I rode with, you guys know Steve Bauer. He used to ride for Motorola. When I lived in Austin, they would come down and we would ride with these guys. They never had mirrors. These were the guys that we kind of picked up tips and tricks from, like, look under their arm to see the wheel and that kind of stuff. So I just got in the habit of just, you got used to look. I even made a video how to look behind while you're cycling, all of that. You just get used to that, and that's fine. I don't really know what made me purchase the mirror about a year ago and never try it, but I was always like, there's got to be a better way to where when you're riding, you don't have to look behind all the time to see every car. We have a lot of cars in the area because we know that Houston area, we have millions of people living here. So something made me want to try it. And until this ride to Anderson, seeing how Doug was using it, I was like, oh, I can use that. I can watch my mates while I'm riding with people. I can see if the group is splitting or whatever, because that's what he used it for. That's what really caught my interest to try it finally, even though I had it in my parts bin. And so, yeah, I never considered it to be a gimmick. I've seen mountain bike riders have it on their bar ends or whatever. It just makes sense. And I was like, my attitude is if it works for that person, there's no point in me scoffing or making a joke about it. That's just the way I am. If something works for you, even if I don't want to try it, I don't need to talk you out of it. So yeah, I understand why you may think it was gimmicky because it's not that prevalent. And I don't think it probably gets as cool points from the hardcore road riders, let's say. They probably don't. I don't see it very often in the group. And we're getting to where we got a few people in the Team RR group. Scott, one of the guys, he's got 2 of those plastic ones in both bar ends. I just think that the left one for this side of the part of the world where we drive on the right, I think the left one is, I don't need one on the right. I'm not worried about the sidewalk. Yeah, so I think having on the left, and if you're in Australia, South Africa, or some of the other countries that drive on the left side, like the UK, I think, then you would put the mirror on the right. Because that's what you need is to watch traffic. I think that's cool. But some people do too, and what I think it just works. And I'm glad I finally got around to trying it because I'm more relaxed. Let's put it that way. Not that I was stressed out before, so it's kind of, I have to qualify it, but it's just that there were times when you'd be riding and a car would come by that you were not expecting necessarily. And then further around here, we got a bunch of guys that have these pickup trucks with big wheels and they bore out the exhaust. So they come by and they rev and the engine is loud and sometimes it startled you. And so with the mirror, you can see them coming and great. So you expect the noise. That's what I mean. So yeah. But it's okay that you felt that way. I'm sure a lot of people have that same feeling. There are a lot of things being pushed at us in cycling. And then you kind of want to make sure you're not standing out from the group that you ride with. You don't want to look like the odd duckling showing up with something that people might snigger at or whatever. The way I'm wired, I don't really care. So I'm different in that regard, but I'm not influenced by whether somebody accepts it or not. As long as it works for me, that's kind of. But I know what you mean. You're right. You don't want to look like, this is kind of odd. It's kind of like you remember when those things the water bottle on your back, what they call it, the camelback. Yeah, in the road circles, they're not that popular. So it's one of those things. Let's see here. Something happened to my stream, I think. Mark, yeah. So Mark says, Ty tells you if you get the tri glasses, get the larger mirror version. I'll check it out and see. I don't think I need anything else other than the thing that's on the bike. I don't know if I need glasses for that, but you never know. Muriel says, hi, I'm fine, Muriel. Let's see here. Ruben says, marginal gains in safety. Rex says he's going to get the mirror just so he can see the faces of people when he drops them. That's funny. Let's see here. All right. There we go. Hey, Derek Clark, welcome. So we're going to be wrapping up in a few minutes. I figure about an hour is reasonable so I can edit. I'm going to put some chapters on this one. People have been requesting that when we do these live sessions, we do chapters. It makes it easy for them to get on the topics that we're talking about. And Miro says, follow me from Romania. Cool. Nice to know, Romania. Romania, I think that is near where the Carpathian Mountains, Romania, Transylvania, all those places. I have been watching this movie. It's kind of old now. It's called Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. and that lady, Kate Beckinsale. They've been showing that. I really like that movie. I love the vampire, the guy who plays the vampire. That's my favorite character. Kenji said, "Have you ever tried Café du Cycliste?" Café du Cycliste, great stuff. Let me see. I'm not familiar with that. Let's see what that is. Café du Cycliste. So what is Café du Cycliste? Let me look it up. Since we got a few minutes here. Let's go to Google here. Café du Cycliste. I never heard of that. Okay. Oh, they make looks like clothing. Café du Cycliste. They're having a sale. French cycling apparel. No, I've never tried them. Let's see here. Men, women, La Gazette. Let's see what they got for men. Café du Cycliste. Barman. Yeah, it looks like they got some cool stuff. I'll check out their stuff. Thanks for telling me about it. Let me save that tab. Check them out later. So Café du Cycliste is a cycling clothing company. And it looks like they sell directly to you. So that I always like those. So there's no middleman. They got some interesting design. Looks like something I'll check out. Yeah, I'll check it out. Cyclocross with brake calipers. I don't know. I guess you're gonna have to just try it and see if it works for you. I used to do a lot of mountain biking a long time ago, but I did not use the regular brake caliper. I think that's what you mean. It may work. I mean, but because it's really just what you're comfortable with on your bars. I'm sure there's a reason why you don't see it being used that much. But I guess your reasoning would be if you're trying to put together a bike and that's what you have in your parts bin. Other than that, you're better off using the standard. I think it works better with the flat bars. Yeah, so I think that's why. It depends on what bars you're going to use. So if you're using flat bars, then you want to use the standard calipers that are designed to work better with flat bars. You can put it at that angle to where your hands angle down and pull in. I think so. That would be something. I wouldn't create anything that would make it difficult for you when you're on your cyclocross bike. All right. So guys, we're going to wrap it up there. I'm glad you all were able to join me. We're going to have more of these. Want to thank all the members. Thank those of you that make it possible for me to be able to do this. But get out there, get your K's in. It's hard sometimes to get out because the weather's challenging. But you got to get your layer. That's why I'm wearing this. You got to get your layers in so you protect yourself from the cold, because that's the biggest thing. And make sure you use chapstick. That's what I found is that the cold weather is very hard on your lips. So make sure you use that to protect yourself while you're out there. Okay? So you guys stay good, stay safe, and we'll be talking again soon. Let me know what kind of topics you want to hear, and as you put your comments on the channel, I will. The last video with the mirrors and stuff made me want to do this since we didn't ride on Saturday, so it was cool that you all were able to join us. So take care of yourself. Until next time, be safe.